Hi, I'm Mitch Johns. In this chapter, we use the fundamental trig identities, which are the reciprocal identities, the quotient identities, Pythagorean identities, cofunction identities, and the even-odd identities to verify the identities. My identity is 1 plus cosecant times negative theta divided by negative cotangent times negative theta minus cosine times negative theta equals negative secant theta. When I first saw the identity, I knew what I was going to do first. I was going to times cosecant times negative theta and negative cotangent times negative theta and negative cosine times negative theta. I used the even and odd identities to turn cosecant times negative theta into negative cosecant theta. I used the even and odd identities to turn negative cotangent times negative theta into positive cotangent times theta. I used the even and odd identities to turn cosine times negative theta into cosine times theta. A common mistake that might happen by just working quickly is turning cosine times negative theta into negative cosine times theta, since you've seen the negative side, but cosine and secant, they stay positive when they're times by negative theta. I used a reciprocal identity to turn negative secant theta into negative 1 over cosine times theta. I used the reciprocal identity to turn negative cosecant theta into negative 1 over sine theta. I multiplied 1 by sine theta divided by sine theta to create a common denominator on the top of the division bar. After finding a common denominator on the top, I was left with sine times theta minus 1 divided by sine theta, all divided by cotangent theta minus cosine theta equals negative 1 divided by cosine theta. I used the quotient identity to turn cotangent times theta into cosine theta divided by sine theta. Then I multiplied cosine theta by sine theta divided by sine theta to create a common denominator on the bottom of the division bar. I then realized that both the divisors were sine theta and I canceled them out. I was then left with sine theta minus 1 divided by cosine theta minus sine theta times cosine theta equals negative 1 divided by cosine theta. I then factored out a negative 1 on the top and a cosine theta on the bottom. I was then left with negative 1 times 1 minus sine theta divided by cosine theta times 1 minus sine theta equals negative 1 divided by cosine theta. I canceled out the 1 minus sine theta on both the top and the bottom. I was then left with negative 1 divided by cosine theta equals negative 1 divided by cosine theta. Since both sides were the same, the identity was verified. In conclusion, I used even and odd identities, quotient identities, reciprocal identities, and common denominators to prove the identity of 1 plus cosecant times negative theta divided by negative cotangent times negative theta minus cosine times negative theta equals negative secant theta to be true. Thank you for watching.